Hello, how are you guys doing? It's good to be back here again. Right. Hi Tanisha. Hello, SKJ Clothings. Hi John Femi. Good to see everyone. Hello. Good to see everyone. Kelvin. Promise, good to see you all. Happy New Year. Yeah, that's true. Happy New Year. Happy New Year, everybody. Happy New Year. Good to see you guys. Oh, wow. Good to see you guys. Good to see everyone. Good to see everyone. Happy New Year, Kim. Good to see everyone. Hi, Benjamin. How are you guys doing? So it's been a while here. I thought we should start. Seth, good to see you here again. Hi, Dubem. Good to see everyone. All right, so that we won't take so much time, I'm hoping that this session would not be longer than 15 minutes maximum. Right. I'll just breeze in and breeze out. Right. Oh, you're welcome. SKJ. I'm glad to hear that. Oh, Kelvin, good to hear that. Thank you so much for your kind words. All right. So, going into tonight's topic, escaping the landlord matrix. Let me start by saying this. For those of you that are joining the live session for the first time, my name is Adesina. I'm the founder of Adesina Assets. So, some people have been misinterpreting some of my stand or some of my perspective when it comes to buying land. All right. I believe land is a profitable venture. Right. In fact, in business accounting, in financial statements preparation or something like that, land is the only asset that you don't depreciate. There's no depreciation calculation for it because they don't treat it according to IFRS, right? That's the traditional financial reporting standard. There is no depreciation. They don't treat land as a depreciating asset. So that already explains the fact that land is a good thing to buy and whatever it is. However, my stand or my perspective has been that land in itself, right, should not be treated as the end goal, right? It should be a means to an end. And I'll give you perspective, right? So, and if you listen to what I said now, that land should not be treated as the end goal, it should be treated as a means to an end, all right? And that's why the topic of this session is escaping the landlord matrix. Because once your goal is to become a landlord, that means land is your goal. Owning the land is your goal. That means that's the end goal. Meanwhile, it shouldn't be, right? And we'll be talking from the perspective of the fact that in the use of land, right, buying and flipping is the least profitable venture of it. Do you get what I just said now? Is the least. So is it profitable? Yes. Buying and selling after some time, is it a good thing? Is it profitable? Yes. But in the order of the valuable use or the productive use of that land, that's the least profitable use of that particular piece of property. There was a video I made, there's a session we had rather, where I said that Apple is not a real estate firm, but they have acres of land, right? They have real estate assets. I gave another example. I gave the example of Dangote. The land whereon Dangote refinery sits on in Ibejuleki, I think is 7 times the size of Victoria Island. Dangote did not go to Ibejuleki to go and become a landlord. He simply went there to expand his business empire. But land being a key factor in production, being a key factor, a constant factor in every what's it called, productive activity has to be present. And let's even, pardon me a little bit, let's go back to, I've seen some people use certain biblical references to convince people that land is a good thing. Why do God also give people land? And we should look at it from the perspective of history. At that particular point in time, land is the constant factor of production, because the predominant occupation then was farming. So the only way to bless someone is just like giving you capital to go and do business. So land is that capital to do business. You can farm on it, whether you want to do livestock farming, or you want to do crop farming. You can now see that even when God blesses you with land, or blesses people with land, then it wasn't for them to become a landlord. It was for them to actually use the land to be productive with it. There's something I often say. I say it all the time for those of you who maybe watch some of my videos. I say that investment became compromised when the link from capital to the business venture became twisted. It doesn't matter how long it has been normalized. It doesn't matter how popular it is. In fact, when you study finance very well, you know that many of the terms, many of the normal things today, they were corrupt inventions. Or they have, they have corrupt rationale in the beginning. But that's not the topic for today. Right? You see, some things that you should know is that, okay, let me say this. I used to tell people around me that you should fear anything that postulates that they are trying to help the everyday person do something. In fact, what I say is that when, for example, someone is inventing something now to say, for example, so that we are trying to tokenize this asset so that the everyday person, the poor people, the masses also can be able to buy assets. Why should you categorize yourself in line with the poor people? Right? What that does is that it dampens your ability to be productive, to think at a level where you can actually build capital. For example, just for example, and you don't have to agree with what I'm saying, right? Just treat me as one of those random voices on the internet, right? Just treat me as such. You don't have to agree with me. You don't have to be, I see someone commented. I was just about to come live and I saw a comment. The person said, "I hate to see you talk." And I was just laughing that you don't have to believe me. You can just treat me as one of those noisemakers on the internet. It doesn't matter really, right? But the fact that you have to comment that you hate me, it means that deep down you actually like me. But that's by the way. I said that investment became compromised when the link from your capital to the real business venture became twisted. When we started creating something like funds, regardless of how it sounds, okay, maybe we would get there. We'll get there. Maybe we're releasing some books this year. Maybe I would have time to now actually break it down, right? Because so many things. For example, I wanted to give an example before, so let me give it now. If you know that for you to get into real estate, you would need, let's say, a minimum of 1 million naira. Now you know that you have to get valuable such that you have an active income that is stable enough for you to be able to afford to do investment deals in millions. But once they say once you know that you can, even with 10,000 naira, you can get into this thing, you just lose the drive to really try to increase your own active income. So with your rusty active income, you are still trying to do some magic with passive income. Meanwhile, you should even understand that even in investing for passive income, your capital drives your returns. Your capital drives your returns. If you invested 1,000 naira, right, and the investment does 10,000 percent, right, and I invest 1 million naira, and my investment does, let's say, the same 10,000 percent, right? The fact that it does 10,000 percent, that doesn't mean that we'll get the same thing. The capital still drives your returns, right? So what I'm trying to say is that land should not, it's not supposed to be treated as the end goal. And why am I saying this? It's funny when people think you are just trying to, I don't know, however it is they put it. I've seen people, what's it called now? That there's a time I used to use where I used the term broke landlords. I've seen broke landlords. I've seen struggling landlords. Commonly, so to say. Commonly, so to say. In fact, the question I ask myself is, and I ask people is, okay, good. You bought this land now for 1 million naira, and you resold it maybe after 5 years or 10 years for, let's say, 20 million naira. Okay, what's next? What do you do with that capital? If there's nothing you know that you are doing with that is giving you, what's it called now, an active income. I have two examples I'll give. This is the first one. If you are not valuable enough, if you don't have wealth intelligence enough to know how to really build, to know how to really make money, even when you make that returns on investment, like you would call it, you would still waste it. You will still waste it. Sometimes we think, I don't know, I think it was when I was serving and I was asking a couple of my fellow corps members that, what do you want? Or what are you looking up to? What are you trying to do? And he said, you know what? I know business that I can do if only I have money. Okay, I said, okay, what business? He said, don't worry, let the money come first. The business idea will come. And it's funny because it's not done that way. It's not done that. Let the money just come first. Let the money just come first. The idea will come. No. It doesn't happen that way. So what I'm trying to say is that even when God's intention for blessing people with land then, right, it is so that they can get productive, use it for farming, because farming was the predominant, occupation then. So God's intention for blessing people with land then was get productive, plant something, raise something, not so that you can become a landlord, right? So even when you treat land as an inheritance, you are gifting it to your children so that it's a capital. It's a form of capital for them. Just imagine that you bought land now, you're gifting to your child. Your child to say, I'm a landlord. Your grandchildren, I'm a landlord. So what's now on the long run, what's now the use of that land? So owning it, it has no role to play in wealth creation. It is getting productive with it. That's the main thing. And as I keep saying that, no land appreciates in value by itself. You might just not be the one adding value to it. Someone is. And the person adding value to it is the person who is being productive around it. For example, why do people rush to Ibejuleki to go and buy land in Lagos? Right? Or this area around this new largest church, in Port Harcourt, or Monia in Ibadan? Because in Bejuleki Dangote refinery is there, free trade zone is there. Someone is adding value to that location. Someone is being productive. You are only leveraging the productivity of another person to drive up the demand for residential properties, the demand for commercial properties, which will now make people want to live there, people want to work there. Then you can drive up the price of your property too. So it's not meant to be the end. And like I said earlier, I'm saying it because I've seen so many broke landlords, struggling landlords. Right? I see people that will say something like, have you heard something like, excuse me, have you heard something like, I'm buying lands now so that maybe when my first child wants to go to school, I can sell one to send the child to school. This one wants to go to school, I sell another one to send the person to school. Did that come through for you? Yes. But should you always liquidate your asset because you have an expense? No. Should you? So if you have, if you have 3 businesses now, and then you want to embark on a major project, you sell this business. The next time you have another thing, you sell this business. The next time you sell. So when you now have another one, what do you now want to sell? What do you want to sell? But there's a way you get productive, that there is a constant flow of cash. For example, regardless of how much land Dangote has, when he has major stuff, he doesn't need to go and start liquidating his assets. I heard the story of Otedola. I think it's a popular story, in fact, when he was bankrupt, or he had a particular financial problem and they had to liquidate all his assets. Right? How did he bounce back? Was it the land that helped him bounce back? The land that the banks have taken, the properties that the government have taken? It was his productivity ability. You can argue that he came from a rich background, he got help here and there. But how many people came from a rich background? How many of them were able to build wealth? How many of them? In fact, there's a particular cycle that what's it called now? That hard times creates is it tough people? Tough people create good time. Good people create weak men. There's a particular metric that is, if things are good, weak people come out of it. Then weak people create hard times. Then hard times create another set of tough people. Tough people create another set of good times. Good times create another set of tough people and weak people again. Right? So just buying or becoming a landlord and flipping of land is the lowest level of the productive use of a piece of property, of a piece of land. That's the whole essence of my conversation. Such that, I used to have asked a question, right? If I say that I'm a developer, what I should be selling should be the concept of my project, should be the business side of my project. Because I'm developing something, it should be like a business idea, like an invention. For example, what's it called? For example, I don't like mentioning names, but I'll give an example. For example, you see the likes of Sujimoto, right? Developing luxury, right? You see the likes of, what's it called, Ned Okonkwo, building smart homes, the likes of Cosgrove also building smart home. You can see what we have in Isimi, Lagos, health and wellness community, right? And things like that. You are building something. What Veritas is doing with Camberwell Advantages. That should be the concept that you sell, right? So even people that hope you know that there are pieces of jewelry that you buy that actually appreciates in value. So actually, are there not paintings that you buy that appreciate in value? But guess what? At the point of buying them, you are not buying them primarily as an investment. It was for aesthetics. The same thing also. There should be a business venture driving such an investment. For example, I was reading a few days ago and I saw that Apple has been buying, I think they tripled their land holdings recently, right? And they disclose some of their, their proposed land use. They want to expand some of their campuses and things like that. So the goal is to get productivity. And when we start thinking about productive use, and don't get me wrong. In fact, this is how I see it. Land can be a good cheat code for holding cash until you know what to do with it. Do you get what I just said now? Land can be a good cheat code for keeping your cash until you know what to do with it. For example, you're working now, you are still active in service, you don't really know what's it called. You don't really maybe have time to focus on building another business on the side. You don't really know what to do. Instead of putting the money in bank and watching the capital go down, you can start holding it in land with the goal that you flip to now get productive when you finally know what exactly to put the money into, maybe a business venture or something like that. Now, your goal there wasn't to become a landlord. Your goal there is just like you're saving it in something that would preserve your capital and also grow your capital, right? With higher value when compared to just keeping a traditional banking. But the goal is to be able to reap back that your savings and put it into a viable business venture. It's what I often say, that investment is simply financing a business. Simple as ABC. It's financing a business. Simple as ABC. In fact, I don't know. What's it called? No, I don't know. What land, right? This is just a perspective. What land or what property do you want to buy, let's say in the year 2000 till date, that would give you the same returns as a share of Apple? As a share of Apple. It just shows that when your capital is productive, it yields more. When it's working, it yields more. That's why I say that as good as buying and just selling is, right, it is the least productive way, right? Can it be a cheat code while you figure out what to really do? Yes, but that should not be the goal. Being a landlord should not be your goal. That's why I see people that they finally run into trouble, they sell at distressed prices, and then they are what's it called? Whatever it is. Whatever it is. But there's a way you build such that, and I do say it, and this is why I will wrap up. Like I said, I don't want this session to be too long. This is why I will wrap up. Every real estate billionaire that you know, they are doing real estate as a business, meaning they are being productive with it. They are buying, adding value, and selling. Buying, adding value, and selling. They are not buying to become a landlord. They are buying to do business with it. And check how they embark on the deals. You have to check how you embark on the deals. All right. For example, there are projects you see. There are projects you see that you know that, okay, maybe based on what this project is about, right? Excuse me. Based on what this project is about, there's going to be demand for this thing. Right? There's going to be demand for this thing. And you can buy, you can use land just the same way. I think I saw, what's his name again? Cubana Chief Priest was talking about the fact that he just brought in, I think there's a particular electric vehicles he just got on, and that if he sold 200 units of that, this is how much he's going to make on each of them. Right? The same way, if I see that, okay, you know what, this person is developing this particular thing in this area. If I buy this thing and, you know, I'm looking at, okay, I need to make some money for something, and I buy to flip, knowing even before I bought it, what I need the return for. If I put 10 million naira on this thing, and in the next 12 to 24 months, I'm able to flip it for this, I need this money to now be able to finance this particular business venture. Now, I'm doing it, I'm treating it such strictly business. I'm not buying it so that I can become a landlord. You get the point now? So that's the concept of the whole, what's it called, landlord matrix. Right? So for example, you see our additional economic city now. We've been about, what's it called? Business. Even when we talk about investment, we talk about it in the in the perspective of financing a business. That's because the primary way for wealth creation is value creation, is being productive, which simply means offering product or service. That's a business, right? Was it? I think what was I hearing that was saying that even in your career, you must learn the business of your career. I think it was Dr. Lumide Manuel, that you must learn the business of your career. That's the primary way for wealth creation, right? So, for example, now you see, okay, we are now trying to build infrastructure for entrepreneurs so that they can build, you know, with ease. They can have access to the support. You know, it was inspired by some business development center we see that exists in other part of the world that doesn't exist here. You know, we can have things like that so that entrepreneurs can really build with the support and resources and amenity infrastructures they need. So we are building additional economic city in Ibadan. And you're like, you know what? When this thing, and we see in our timeline that we are set to build a temporary structure there to house the first event by July 2025. By then, people will start wanting to build rental units there. I saw a picture of Transcorp Hilton when it was first built. It was surrounded by bush. But that singular presence drove the development of that axis. And like in the next 12 months, people want to buy things here. And luckily for you, see that we are, you know, we have some deals exclusive for some people. That, you know what, okay, you can get a deal, buy with us at net cost price. And when people start coming to come and buy, when they see the progress on site, you can flip it and sell. And you're like, you know what can I do with, maybe if I buy for 1.5 million naira per plot and sell next year, what can I do with that capital? Okay, I have a business, I can use it to finance. And that can be a good deal. That can be a good deal. And that's why we are not offering that particular plot as land banking or as come and become a landlord here. No. We are saying this is a deal you can get on. Right? You buy an acre for 9 million naira. We know that by the time the temporary structure is up in the next 6 to 8 months, developers also want to come and partner with us to build for to build there to resell, and people want to live there. You can sell even for a minimum of 3 million per plot in the next 6 to 8 months. And you can easily list with a sales partner that we can recommend or a broker that you know, and they can sell for you. They get their commission, you get your returns, and everybody's happy. But the goal is not just for you to hold capital, to hold the land. No. You have to think of getting productive with it. Land, putting your money in land is like leverage. You are leveraging other people's productivity. Like I even told you that even when God gives people land, it's so that they can get productive with it. It's not so that they can become a landlord, so that they can get productive with it, right? So I believe you've learned one or two things tonight, right? This is where we wrap up. For those of you who are just joining, the video will be uploaded on the page so that you can rewatch again, and hopefully you also learn one or two things from it. And if you're interested in the additional economics that I mentioned, you can click the link in our bio. You'll see the what is it called, AEC acres. Click it, read the form. If it's something that interests you, you can fill the form, and then we'll get back to you. You have questions? Okay, let me see if I can take a few questions before I leave. All right, Chiboy, please go ahead with your questions. Maybe I can take one or two questions. Go ahead with your questions, please, Chiboy. Some of you are requesting to join. Rental properties. Rental properties, that's a business already. That's a business already. If you understand what I'm saying, because now you are in the business of offering. You are in the business of offering accommodations to people. That's a business already. You're already being productive, right? When you buy land, you build and you sell. That's business. When you buy, you build for rent. That's also business. You are offering service. Now you're offering service to people. You are not just holding. Now you're offering service. You see that now? So that's a business. So that's not just you being a landlord. Now you're in the real estate business. So you're not just becoming that. Now you're already in the business. That's what I'm saying. You see that now? Correct. So in the absence of any other question, this is where we wrap up. If you have any other question, you can just drop it in the comment section of this video, and then we'll see how we can attend to it. Or you can send us a DM. So do enjoy the rest of your evening, everybody. Bye.